All right, we have a new chapter of One Piece. This one is going to be crazy. As much as the plot has jumped around an insane amount over this quote unquote arc, which feels less and less the focus of what's going on. Like, really, how long have we gone now with a chapter where none of the Straw Hats appear? It's insane. I feel like with this chapter in particular, there's no way they're not going to deliver on the promise that was made at the end of the last one. That is, hearing the truth of what really happened on the day of the reverie, right? What kind of fake out would it be if we jumped back from here to some other battle or Egghead of all things or any other of a million things we could jump to? No, 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 no. I think they gotta deliver. Plus, this chapter title is The Truth of That Day. What other day could they mean? This is a cute little reader request. Doflamingo acting very, very out of character, taking care of this little chick that fell from the nest. But alas, we must move on from Doflamingo's shocking good deed to political intrigue and scandals and the shadowy forces that lurk behind the obstinate powers of the world. Managed to complete all my objectives. Broadly speaking, I had 3. Okay, so here's the Kamabaka Kingdom, or Queendom, I'm sorry. I love this shot of their buildings. What a gaudy aesthetic. And here we cut back to Marijois to see, you can see the symbol there of the nobles. To destroy the symbol of the Celestial Dragons in declaration of war. Kind of one-upping your brother there, huh, Sabo? Luffy shoots down the world government flag, so now you have to destroy the Celestial Dragon symbol. Second, free as many slaves as I could and take back Kuma. And third, to venture into the land of the gods and destroy their food stockpile. How did I do? Interesting. Destroying the food in particular is very strange to me. Because I feel like, they're very geographically remote, right? Like, they're all the way at the top of the red line. Getting food up there is probably a logistics nightmare. But at the same time, the system to get food up there, it definitely exists and is definitely very robust and is definitely pulling in gourmands and delicacies and everything they could ever dream of from all corners of the world, right? So it feels like destroying their current food stockpile wouldn't really do that much. Which makes me think that there's some other factor here that I'm missing. Some reason that they were going to bunker down and go into isolation or something. Maybe as a preemptive defensive maneuver against like the increasing chaos and hostility of the rest of the world. We're just gonna pull up the ladder, so to speak, and sit on top of the Grand Line and chill. And that Sabo, by doing this, is forcing them to retain connections to the rest of the world and increasing their vulnerability at a larger scale. That's my best guess. I don't know. Our influence in a dozen countries around the world sparked the people to take up arms, ending in 8 successful revolutions. Out of those 8 countries, one was Lucia, which vanished mysteriously without a trace. 7 countries under new leadership have cut off all heavenly tribute to the government and stopped exporting natural resources. Nice. Okay, so yeah, we're attacking government cargo ships, cutting off supply lines to Marijois. I like to call Marijois an impenetrable fortress because of its great elevation. Yeah, they're going to starve them out. If they can cut off the supplying countries via revolution or just attacking the ships while they're leaving, and they can destroy the food stockpiles. Interesting. I like this. Because I've always really appreciated that the revolutionaries operate in a different way than the other major powers in One Piece, right? The Navy fights people. Pirates fight people, right? Like, that's how they settle things. That's how they decide everything. That's how their territories and influence and stuff are established. But then there's other sources of more soft power. The revolutionaries, they set up political dissent. They change the opinions of the people. They operate through these more sophisticated means. Likewise, the government has stuff like the CPs, the cipher pulse, that can work all of this counter-revolutionary magic, right? Like, it's another dimension of the war game. So it makes a lot of sense to me that they're using this sort of tactic and not just like, we're raiding Marijwa. Because first off, that wouldn't work. I think they would kind of get owned. But, I don't know, it just like really fits. And I think it's really cool. You have no defense against the lack of food. See how you... and then this cruel irony, too, that they always lived in decadence while impoverishing so many countries, leaving people starving in the streets. So let's see how they like it. Having cut off all their supply lines, surely starting to feel the pain in the capital by now. People are not the type to stay quiet under duress. They mobilize the Holy Knights. That's where the fighting will begin. Ooh, okay. So I like this. Again, I said, there's no need to introduce new characters at this point. But I talked at some length, I think, in the last chapter about how we have enough characters for an endgame already. But at the same time, something like this, it just kind of makes sense that it exists. That there would be a last line of defense for Marijwa itself that isn't just Cypherpole or the government's. Something that, you know, stops the 5 Elder Stars from getting their hands dirty. Speaking of which, do you remember when the Elder Star St. J. Garcia went out to Egghead Island and we were all like pumped because we were going to see exactly what his power was, if anything, or if he was just there to order the new Pacifista around? And then we haven't seen that. That was like half a year ago. Half a year ago. Oh, I don't know if it was that long ago. It was a while ago. Anyways. Yeah, the Holy Knights. It makes sense that this exists. I'm like really hyped up to see them because Oda is just such a god of taking like a little organization like this that looks like it has maybe 10 members. And all 10 of them are just hilarious and fantastic. Maybe this will be kind of like a mini boss fight. The Straw Hats versus the Holy Knights or something. Who knows? Who knows? Or maybe the Revolutionary Army versus the Holy Knights. Like I say, we have enough characters, but at the same time, if we want everybody to have like a real spotlight moment against an opponent, maybe we do need more to get like enough on each side in every occasion. Sabo. I mean, Flame Emperor boy. You're the one they're after the most. That makes sense. Regardless of the truth behind it, the assassination of King Cobra turned you into a hero in the people's eyes. I see. Wow. Okay, so I don't think he really killed Cobra. Because, as Dragon said, Cobra's a good guy. And I think it would be... Like, Oda does set up these moments of betrayal of trust within heroes and protagonists feeling uneasy around other protagonists because of misaligned motivations and stuff. But to have a scene where Luffy is like, this is my brother Sabo, and Vivi is like, that man killed my father, I think it's too far. Not that such a scene would have to exist, but even creating the conditions under which that scene would happen is a little too much. So I think, I don't know, this is like very nuanced. I think this is very interesting. That Dragon recognizes, yeah, some of these kings are actually really good. And although he's probably very anti-monarchist in general, he can acknowledge that they're doing a good job, at least, within the flawed system they're trapped in. So he's a hero to all revolutionaries, all rebellious people. Did he really kill King Cobra? I really don't think so. Because I feel like, I don't know, maybe we'll see in this chapter if we get a proper flashback. Eam is trying to kill Vivi, right? Because Vivi has some sort of power to unlock one of the ancient weapons, right? I think that makes sense. That hasn't been confirmed, but I think that makes sense because it would kind of parallel the royalty of Wano having access to Pluton, being able to control it or conjure it up or something. And then Shirahoshi in the Fishman Island Kingdom has control over Poseidon? Neptune? Poseidon? I can never remember the name of these dang things. She has control over that, which is like the ancient weapon that controls all the Sea Kings, all the Neptunians, whatever. And then it would make sense that the royal family of Alabasta controls the hidden weapon that's lying dormant there, okay? So I imagine that's why Eam is taking out Vivi. And I think what happened is that Cobra died trying to protect Vivi. Sabo takes the blame. Vivi narrowly escapes with her life. This is my guess. Maybe I've forgotten something. The plot is very complicated right now. I don't think we've seen where Vivi ended up since all of this catastrophe. I don't think. They claim that Sabo kidnapped her, I think. So maybe she really is hiding out with the revolutionaries? I don't know. Let's continue reading. Anything that gets the flame of rebellion going. Tell us the truth behind this article. Tearfully begged and pleaded, searching for a reason for you to do this. We all want to believe in you. Okay. It looks pretty damning. He's just standing there in front of a dead cobra. Alright, here we go. This is where we left off. The revolutionaries had burst in to Marijois. Huge explosions, chaos. These fucking celestial dragons crying and panicking. It feels so good. The food storage exploded. Mwah. They blew up the symbol. Gotta take our gourmet food. There's St. Carlos. This fucking little bastard. Put our security forces to the sword next. They deserve death for letting this happen to us. Jesus Christ, people. This is why you're not popular. Whipping their slaves into submission. Terrible, terrible. Karasu flying through. I love this guy, dude. Karasu is so cool. The fact that he's like really, really quiet. He has to mic himself up or whatever. He's got the crow powers. Nice, nice. For some reason, it really is brutal that they make their slaves continue to wear their pirate regalia and stuff and still wear, you know, the captain's hat. And just to add humiliation, just to add insult to injury. Run into town, the east. Okay, this is how they're freeing all the slaves. Ooh! So maybe what he has is not some sort of crow devil fruit, but like a soot logia fruit that he can just freely use his body as soot. A little Shadow's House type power here. There's even that one girl in the nobility of Shadow's House that sends out little soot pigeons with messages. Yeah, the soot fruit. I see. Nice, nice. And here's this wacky little kitted up, quirked up Lindbergh, who may not have a devil fruit. I think he's like a Zoe person, whatever those people were called, the animal people. I can't think of what they're called. Is it really just person from Zoe? Whatever. And then just has a bajillion gadgets. Ooh. Fujitora's here. Just casually attacking an admiral. This is the other thing I like about the revolutionaries. Because they always work in these subterfuge type ways, and they don't just like full on attack people, we really don't know what their power level is compared to other stuff, right? Like Oda's been able to really preserve that and kind of decide on the fly how strong he wants these characters to be. And I think that's kind of hype because, you know, I think One Piece succeeds a lot because it very clearly establishes our expectations for power levels and matchups and feats of strength and stuff. And it, like, sticks to that, and I think that really builds up a lot of anticipation and tension and stuff. But at the same time, like, the more you do that, the more hype it is to have a few characters that don't follow those rules, that we know so little about, that we are totally blown away by in situations like this. Fighting an admiral one-on-one. Fighting Fujitora, the other admiral. Why is this boy so angry all the time? Morley is very funny. Oh, Rokugyu. Fujitora is this guy. I'm sorry. I just called him Fujitora, and then I called this guy Fujitora as well. He's Rokugyu. Dropping a meteor. Wipe the map clean between the two of them. Did all of CP9 get promoted to CP0? Anyways, yeah, this I think is kind of funny, because the revolutionaries, I think the implication here is the admirals really do outclass them, which makes sense, because the admirals are friggin' strong. But because, again, of this like tactical thinking, the revolutionaries aren't engaging them in just like a one-on-one clean fight. They're fighting them in a situation where if they falter a little bit and they let somebody get hurt, if they act too recklessly, if they attack too wildly, they're gonna get put to death, right? Like, they can't spare a single drop of royal blood. So this is pretty cool. I think that's very, very smart. And again, it kind of like preserves the ambiguity of what are the revolutionaries really capable of. Especially, like, you know, telling Fujitora to not drop a meteor. That's like his special attack. They're really calling this out here. But yeah, okay, so CP9 is all wearing white outfits now, which implies that they're in CP0, along with Kaku and Lucci. Kind of surprising to me, because, like, they failed. They blew it so hard at Ainz Lobby, right? Like, they all got defeated. Now, a few of them, like Kaku and Lucci, I imagine have stellar records outside of this and went on to do great and powerful things. I guess these guys, it's possible they could have too. Maybe they got like motivated or whatever. I don't know. I'm like surprised that they all got promoted. It's fun to see them again though. I like all these characters. I like that Kabuki man here, name forgotten, is praising how weird they are. God, what a good arc Ainz Lobby is. I love Ainz Lobby so much. Okay. Sabo trying to free Kuma. I love that Sabo, his little introduction here, his name is on fire, because he's the Fire Emperor Sabo now. I'm not sure what I like about that name. He's not entirely keen on that name. That's fine. Probably hasn't given up on Princess Shirahoshi yet. Right. These fucking guys. Okay, yeah, and friggin' Jewelry Bonnie is running around here too. This is kind of where the plot lines might start converging a little bit, because ideally we're going to learn something about Kuma during this flashback, which will then relate to what Bonnie is learning on Egghead and stuff, and explain why Kuma is flying towards Egghead, what the heck is going on in his little brain programming. Leave me alone. I'm going to ask Vice Admiral Garp for help. So Vivi is being confronted and intimidated by Lucci. Chaka and Pell leave Cobra alone. Okay. He's gonna go speak with the Five Elders. To be continued. Now, just a little meta storytelling analysis here. This is Sabo's flashback. This is Sabo explaining to Dragon and Eva what happened during the reverie, right? So how are we seeing this scene? Did Sabo just assume this is what happened? Are we stepping outside of that flashback focalization? Or does this imply that Sabo heard this part of the story from Vivi and Cobra? I don't know. I think those are all fine, plausible explanations. I kind of think it's actually really implying the last one, though. Like, subtly, and in a way that doesn't draw attention to the fact that that must be where the story is going. Because we all know that Sabo just didn't come in and kill Cobra, right? There's more to it than that. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Good chapter. Hard to fathom how this flashback arc was written 5 years ago. Interesting. Alright. See you next week. I think. I don't think there's another break. See you next week. Hell yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.